This is the Economic Choices Section C lecture. Our prioritized standard is Economic Standard 4, and objectively we're going to trace the evolution of money and banking.
The modern institution of banking was created in part through the evolution of exchange. And by exchange, that means trading goods and services with people for other goods and services or for money. The most primitive form of exchange is barter. And barter is the direct trading of goods and services between people. Something that happens when you have barter, you have double coincidence of wants. And this is a condition during bartering where each of two people or groups has what the other wants. This doesn't happen frequently, though. Most bartering actually results in complicated transactions, not double coincidence of wants. Barter has the problems of divisibility, portability, and storage. Money has generally replaced barter as a more efficient system for exchange because it greatly reduces the problems of barter. Now, money, yes, I'm going to define money just for giggles. Money is a good that can be used to buy all other goods. Money encourages specialization by decreasing the opportunity cost of exchange, meaning you can specialize in what you do because you can use the money from that job to buy all the things that you might want. This is also going to lead to some interdependence among producers and consumers, because if you want something that you don't produce yourself, you have to rely on someone else to actually produce that for you. Money generally serves three basic functions. Of those functions, we have medium of exchange. And by medium of exchange, that means it's a good that's accepted as payment for goods and services. It can include things like currency, precious metals, salt, beads, cocoa beans, livestock. There have been many instances of different things being used as money throughout history. But again, you have to be a medium of exchange. People have to be willing to accept you as payment. Another function, you have to be a unit of account, meaning you can be used to express the market value of different goods and services. So in our country, we have dollars and cents. Basically, that means we can look at items and basically give it some sort of value based on whatever our money system is. So this Ford Mustang's worth $40,000. This Ford Fiesta is worth $20,000. So you have to be able to use it as a unit of account. And the third function has to serve store of value, which means that money retains its buying power and ability to be traded for goods and services at any time. So generally speaking, that means you can use your money now. You could also save it for later and still be able to use it later. So if your money was something that could rot, generally speaking, you couldn't use it later, so therefore it doesn't serve that function of a store of value. When money was principally gold coins, it was not always easy to carry, because if you didn't know, gold is actually heavy, and transporting numerous gold coins was an activity that easily drew the attention of thieves. So due to these disadvantages, many actually started to look to goldsmiths to store their gold for them. Why? Because goldsmiths had something normal people didn't have. They had a safe. So goldsmiths took in other people's gold, stored it for them, and then issued them a warehouse receipt. Now, what a warehouse receipt is, it's a slip of paper from the goldsmith, but it basically states how much gold a person actually had stored in the goldsmith's safe. Something weird started to happen. Instead of actually redeeming the gold for purchases, meaning going back to the goldsmith and getting out their gold, they didn't actually do that anymore. People actually began exchanging the warehouse receipts for purchases. So instead of just basically you sign off your warehouse receipt to someone else. So in a lot of ways, this kind of becomes like the modern day check. With people not redeeming their gold, the goldsmiths decided to lend some of this gold to other people and actually charge them interest on these loans. So this is the beginning of what's called fractional reserve banking. And by fractional reserve banking, well, this is banking where only a fraction of the deposits are kept on hand, meaning you put all your money into the bank, but they only keep a small fraction of that money in the bank, with the remainder being lent to borrowers or possibly being invested. And that's still the way our banking system is today. You put your money in, generally speaking, they keep roughly 10% of your money, and then they loan out the other 90% to other people so that they can actually make a profit. Generally speaking, that's why you earn interest by putting your money into a bank, because they do other things with it while it's there. They don't just hold it and protect it in the safe at all times. Fractional reserve banking actually affects the amount of money that's in the economy, which is also known as the money supply. Borrowing actually allows for the expansion of the economy, so you can actually spread the wealth among numerous people as opposed to just a few people having most of the wealth. And this also causes the money supply to grow. Now, when the money supply increases, the money that's in the economy actually becomes less valuable.
Modern banks and other financial institutions serve as intermediaries between savers and borrowers, where savers deposit their money with a bank that banks then can lend to individuals or businesses. All right, this concludes Economic Choices, Section C lecture. Again, our prioritized standard is Economic Standard 4, and objectively, now you can trace the evolution of money and banking.